motion. Isla's back. We did just have one guest go to the restroom. Okay, guys, we're going to get started here pretty quick. Let's get our seats. Thank you. Such an orderly crowd. Thank you so much for being here. We're really excited about having this event in person. Woo! Oh, so excited. I'm going to knock the mic over. And I know it's really warm, and I appreciate you guys all sitting in the sun. Your little programs can be your shade hats, and we have more water, so maybe just raise your hand if you need more, and we'll bring it to you. We are waiting on one more student. We're going to get started, and hopefully he will arrive before it is his moment in the sun, so to speak. And we'll squeeze him in when he gets here. But without further ado, introduce Christy Hutton, our head of school.
Welcome, everybody. Can you hear me all right? Awesome. Well, it is my great pleasure to be looking out at this audience today, not only because we get to respect all the hard work that these amazing 8th graders have done, but for the first time, I'm going to say in the history of my time at Kirby, we need to acknowledge the fact that you are a very big part of this 8th grade journey. I think we have never leaned on families the way we did this year. It was a beautiful partnership. We've gotten to know you all so much better. We've actually had a glimpse into most of your homes. I was an 8th grade advisor, so I was in your homes on Monday mornings. And I just wanted to acknowledge the fact that this, while it is absolutely their victory and their accomplishments that we're celebrating today, I want to be sure that you're all feeling a tremendous sense of pride and honor in having been such an important part of that journey and that victory, and knowing that in spite of a pandemic, they did amazing work this year. The academics that were being churned out by these students were incredible, impressive. They are absolutely ready for high school, ready to do us all proud. And I just want to recognize that with an applause, just real quick before we get started. So I also get the honor of letting you know a little bit about today's program. This is the first time we've done this in this beautiful space, so there might be a little bit of hiccups as we're getting situated. We'll be going back and forth between the podiums. Oh, I forgot. I wasn't going to wear my mask for this. That's why we're 12 feet away from everyone. So we're going to go back and forth. So you will notice when your student's coming up next in the program, we follow along with the sequence of the program. The name of the teacher that's going to speak about your child is right under the child's name. And after I introduce Mr. Anzaldo, who will be the first speaker, the next one coming up will be coming this direction. So if you're getting ready with a camera, you can expect to see the next speaker in the other side. And we hope everything goes smoothly. Typically, our tradition is to give our students their certificates and acorns as we do the speeches. Because of COVID, we're doing it a little bit differently this year. We've actually inserted it into their little seat packages, so they already have their certificates and they already have the acorns. And before I introduce the first faculty speaker, I just wanted to give everyone a brief explanation about what the acorn is about. You will notice that there is an acorn at the center of the wave symbol, our logo for the school. And that was actually a logo that was designed by the very first graduating class. Each one of the waves signifies one of the students. It was a small class. And the symbol of the acorn was meant to be passed down throughout the years. It's a history of Kirby. This is our 26th year doing this, to pass on that kernel of the foundation of knowledge that's going to lift up these students as they move on into high school. And they meant for that acorn to be the investment in these students that will bloom into hopefully an amazing academic journey. And we wanted them to feel that they've already earned that piece here. At the end of 8th grade, they're on that journey, and nothing can take their accomplishments of that investment and that foundation away from them. It is now yours as we head into high school. So, with all that explained, if you guys want to take a moment, they're in the blue mesh bags in your packages. It's fine to take a look at them if you're curious. They're little silver acorns on I think a leather string. So, Mr. Anzaldo, would you mind coming and sort of joining me 30 feet away? Please welcome Mr. Anzaldo.
Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about Kai. Hey, Kai. Kai, it's been a joy to be your teacher over the past couple of years, but especially this year, because at the end of my Zoom classes, when I was trying to figure out how to run a jazz band class online, you were always starting the classes by asking how I was doing. That was really appreciated. Thank you. Not only are you kind, you are talented, creative, and bright, and I know your other teachers will agree with me when I say you bring that same joy, creativity, and spirit of inquiry into every project and every class that you're a part of. Whether it's a new Bill Withers song or a Miles Davis chart, you always bring your A game, and moreover, you are truly a team player. In consistently rising to the occasion when it comes to new music we are tackling in my classes, you do so in a way that always elevates your peers, a defining quality of a true rhythm section player. Oh, for those of you who don't know, Kai is an excellent drummer, so that's why I'm putting all this in here. I look forward to all your continued success, progress, and growth, not only as a musician, but as a contributing member of the Kirby community. Congratulations, Kai. And I will now pass it to Ms. Bartlett.
Hello, I am Mrs. Bartlett, and today I have the honor of speaking about Giannis. Hello, Giannis. It has been a true joy getting to know you this year. I admire the ease in which you walk through the world and your passion for reading. You're a deep listener, which is appreciated by all those lucky enough to be around you. Thank you for your willingness to always speak first when others are not ready yet. You are always 100% engaged in every activity, whether it be in geometry or in self. It is clear you are eager to learn and have a love of learning and a challenge. Tova says you are a dedicated learner, curious, and a critical thinker. I agree. I always enjoy your questions, but my favorite part about you is that you are ready and willing to participate in any activity, no matter how silly or difficult it may be. I appreciate your resilience throughout this difficult year, your ability to go with the flow, and the fact that you were able to stay on top of your work and turn every assignment in both classes in on time. Thank you for being the wonderful human that you are. I look forward to seeing you and what you do here at Kirby in high school. Congratulations on your step up.
Owen R. It has been an absolute pleasure working with you in the science and math realm over the course of your middle school career. As stated by many of your teachers, you've not only brought curious, creative, and out-of-the-box thinking to the classroom, but also a deeply caring, heartfelt, and joyful energy to our learning community. This has also allowed you to navigate our campus and all of your relationships within Kirby with kindness, compassion, and humor. Teachers have not only been the ones to observe these traits, but your classmates as well, who recently described you as a super respectful and a really good addition to the class. One who participates the right amount, not too loud or too quiet. So, as you move on into high school, I want to end with a piece of advice from a famous teacher, Mr. Clark, science teacher at Hawkins High and faculty advisor of the Hawkins AV Club, Stranger Things. Once you open up that curiosity door, anything is possible. So, keep that curious door open, remain true to yourself, and I have no doubt that the adventure team will keep making not only yourself, but also those in your community better. Best of luck.
Danny Fester. So Danny Fester is the quintessential Renaissance person. She's a talented surfer as she began catching waves when she was just 3 years old. She's an amazing runner. She's a fabulous baker, and she's musically inclined as a gifted singer. Danny has fantastic social skills, exhibiting lightheartedness and warmth whenever she speaks. She's highly relational, and she values her friendships. According to Damara, Danny brings heartfelt energy to all of her interactions and cares deeply for the community. On top of it all, Danny has a delightful and witty sense of humor, and here's a story that demonstrates that. During a goal-setting exercise, Danny shared she wanted to learn more acrobatic tricks on the trampoline. Students shared extensively about injuries they as well as other people have had on trampolines. 20 minutes later, as students wrapped up their stories, I shifted the conversation back to Danny, and I asked her, "You still want to learn more tricks on the trampoline?" And without skipping a beat, she responded in the most confident manner, "I really do. I've accepted the risks." Danny, may you proceed with this same attitude, accepting the risks that are worth taking as you step up into your high school journey. Okay, the second student, Ella Nielsen. Throughout the school year, there was a common question that came up in our classroom discussions. "Ella Nielsen, how did you become so awesome?" Everybody would ask her. I'm honored to answer that question right now. Ella anticipates the needs of others and looks for opportunities to be inclusive. I could not agree more with Kendra in that Ella is considered by many to be a trusted friend. She balances being an active listener with utilizing her own voice in class discussions. As mentioned by Kendra, Ella is an expansive thinker, engaging everything she does with a thoughtful and in-depth consideration. According to Mr. Trop, Ella has made many insightful and thoughtful contributions during ethics bowl meetings. Tuesday says Ella is dedicated, curious, and very perceptive to subtleties in art. She has such refined artistic sensibilities, whether drawing, painting, or using digital drawing tools. She also enjoys working on creative, collaborative projects. And how could we not mention that Ella finished off her middle school career carrying the 8th grade class into the finals of the first annual May Madness water balloon toss with grace and humility. Ella, looking forward to watching you continue to become awesome as you step up to high school.
Hi, everybody. Today I have the pleasure of speaking about Maddie, Tony, and Dylan. So we'll start off with Maddie. Maddie, where are you? I'm honored to speak about you today. Thank you so much for bringing your hard work, passion, and humor to class every day this year. In all my years of teaching, I have seldom seen such a driven and empathetic student. You care about your grades. Yes, I can always accept exceptional work from you, but you also care about your classmates. You care about the world. When I look at you, I see someone who is going to make a difference, who sees and believes in a world that is better than the one we're standing in right now. My advice to you, never stop believing in yourself and that vision of the future. You are capable of successes and growth no matter where you are and no matter what you find yourself learning. Also, congrats on getting the best score in our 8th grade end of the year mega Kahoot. So thank you for a great year, Maddie. All right, next I have the pleasure of speaking about Tony. Tony, I know this must have been a really challenging year to begin at a new school. Despite all of the hurdles of 2020-21, you rose to the occasion. I could always count on you to do your best in class this year. I remember especially in one of the books we read was Animal Farm, and we got into a lot of nitpicky discussions. Oh, who said, what character said this? When did this happen? And I swear Tony always knew every single answer. You might be surprised that I'm the one giving you this speech because I know that English wasn't necessarily your favorite. It's hard to compete with science and social studies, but I'm just so proud of you for making it through this challenging year and putting yourself out there to try new things like track and field. My advice to you, never forget the value of pushing yourself to do better, the value of trying new things. Also, on a side note, I loved the concept behind your final short story. Perhaps you have a future career as a writer. I think so. Yeah, maybe. I don't know, just something to consider. Thank you for a great year, Tony. All right, and last I'm going to speak about Dylan. So, Dylan, I could always count on you to bring your humor and enthusiasm to fifth period English this year. I know it wasn't the easiest time of day for anyone. For those of you who don't know, that's last period. So despite that, I could always count on you to bring your best self to class, whatever that was on each day, and I really appreciated that. Your passion to fight injustice, which surfaced in a number of our books, is something I also really admire about you. You're never afraid to speak up when you see something wrong, which is a challenge even for adults, even for many of us who are here in the audience today. Your creative writing throughout the year has also been something you should be really, really proud of. Keep writing. Keep using your voice. Remember how you told me about that poetry contest you won in the past? Who's to say you can't win one again? My advice to you, never underestimate yourself. You are capable of more than you can imagine right now.
Hi, Sai. Cyrus, I'm honored to get to share about the many ways you contribute to our community today. Author Kenneth Hildebrand says that strong lives are motivated by dynamic purposes, and I have observed strong and dynamic purposes in your presence this year. In class discussions about equity and voice, you engage the lived reality of others thoughtfully, empathetically, and with an active vision for justice. In distance learning moments, you've kept our group engaged and motivated with many homegrown props, from paper cutouts of mustaches that randomly appear on your face to impromptu visits from figurines. We watched your Zoom screen to remember to laugh, even in the most difficult of seasons. Across the years, I've seen your consistent care for others. You've led discussions, thoughtfully engaged voices at home during hybrid learning, and you're always willing to check in, collaborate, and laugh with anyone you're paired or grouped with. Damara has described you as creatively generous and says you know how to support community through play, joy, and caring action. If strong lives are motivated by dynamic purposes, then I want to take this moment to acknowledge you, Cyrus, and your dynamic contributions that have strengthened us all throughout this year and throughout all of your time at Kirby. Congrats on stepping up.
Carson, it is so good to see you in person, first of all. As I reflect on your unique place in this 8th grade class, your quirky sense of humor comes immediately to mind. Between your witty comments and your great affinity for the silly and absurd, you've had me pausing class mid-sentence to crack up at something you put in the chat. Several of your teachers have described you as a master of creative thinking, an outside-of-the-box thinker, and a great problem solver. And you have a great gift for making connections between different areas of your life. As a teacher, the best kind of email that I can receive in the summer, or ever, is one from a student saying that they saw something and thought of my class. Last summer, you sent me such an email to share and ask about some Latin text that you came across in a video game. Your genuine interest and curiosity, enough to open your school email in the middle of your summer vacation, was truly a delight. We wish you continued laughter, curiosity, and growth as you step up to high school. Congratulations, Carson. And Wyatt, in the 2 years that I've taught you, you've always been motivated to do your best in whatever you do. Mr. Bauer has also noted this quality in your athletic endeavors, praising your passion, dedication, and hard work in cross-country, track, and soccer. You are curious and engaged in your education and with the world around you. I have to thank you for keeping me up to date with the latest archaeological discoveries. I can't even count how many cool articles you've shared with me, many of which directly related to something we had studied together in class. You certainly have wide-ranging talents and interests. I've gotten to see your creativity and eye for design through your class projects, and I still remember being impressed by your photos from last year's Life Science photo contest. One thing I have admired about you this year in particular, and that I hope you can also recognize in yourself, is that you are resilient and persistent in the face of challenges, in the classroom, on the field, and in life. I'm honored to be a part of your journey, and I can't wait to see what you do next. Congratulations, Wyatt.
This is tall. I have the lovely joy of talking about 3 wonderful students today. I get to talk about Maddox, Max, and Ethan. Maddox, you always kept class interesting. You continually thought outside the box and brought ideas to science that I had not thought of. Your ability to relate Shrek to everything and anything was quite honestly impressive. You persevered through this year, through distance learning at a new school with new friends. You never let us get bored when brainstorming and always had a way to take the project to the next level. What I appreciated most from you was your willingness to ask questions. You never shied away, but asked clarifying questions that helped not only you, but your classmates understand the concepts better. As the year went on, I saw your friendships grow from just acquaintances to inside-level, joke-level rapport. Your flexibility has been demonstrated on countless occasions, as you are always willing to partner up and work with anyone. Finally, I have seen your maturity grow so much this year. You were able to keep topics appropriate, and yet still keep me guessing about what you were going to relate to science. I'm proud of the work you've produced this year, Maddox, but more than that, I'm proud of who you've become. Max. Our connection started with an obscure show called Whack Fu, but it quickly blossomed into weekly sharing of the nerdiest parts of culture. We shared a love of gaming, anime, and lots of Magic the Gathering. Every time you would share with me a new show or game or card, your tone would tell me exactly how excited you were to share it, and it truly made me excited to log on to class. Your laugh is infectious. Whether you were laughing at a silly Magic card or a bad pun I quipped, or even one of the many tangents our class seemed to find itself continuously on, it always brought a smile to my face. This year has not been easy, but I saw you keep an upbeat spirit and show me that even though you can joke with the best of them, you understand how to get the schoolwork done. You're always able to bring relevant questions that made me think even deeper about the topic we were learning about. But the thing I will miss most is just hanging out before class and being nerdy with you. Thanks for being my kind of person, Max. Ethan, you never ceased to amaze me with your level of caring. You often talked about how smart or amazing your classmates were, and it demonstrated how kind you were. During the beginning of every class, you would do a small check-in with me, and you often asked how my son was. Those little moments mattered more to me than you know. You are totally and authentically yourself at all times. I enjoy how honest you are about who you are and what you believe in. Don't let anyone ever try to change that. You work so hard, but don't often give yourself enough credit when you see results. Remember, you only get the things you earn, and you earned so much this year. Your resilience this year has been very evident, and you should be proud of how well you've done in a rough year. You have been able to laugh through a rocky time and have come out a stronger person. I know that you are ready to tackle high school as long as you keep being the kind, honest, and hard worker that I know you are. Thank you for being my friend.
Good afternoon. I have the privilege of speaking for two students, both of whom I am very fond. The first student I get to represent is Mau Mau. Mau Mau, for 3 years you have carried yourself around Kirby with the maturity and the seriousness of an older student. However, your friends and teachers also know that wide smile that comes out when you give us a glimpse of your funny sense of humor. You demonstrate a quiet intensity in multiple facets of your life. In the classroom while studying, in the music room while singing or playing violin, or on the ultimate field while running until exhaustion without a single complaint. Your teachers are impressed with your willingness to try new things. I hear you have amazing cooking skills, apparently. We have noticed your positive attitude, your kindness towards your peers and your friends, your respect for your classmates and your teachers, and your wonderful mix of hard work and silliness in the classroom that makes you so special. Your ultimate coaches were so impressed with your growing disc skills and your leadership potential that they played you in the critical handler position against high school students this year, much older, much faster, much bigger. And when you got the big pass block against that much bigger guy, your teammates went crazy on the sidelines. I look forward to seeing what you accomplish in high school, my friend. Congratulations. And Daniel, my friend, you are a true rock star, buddy. Last week, I watched a video of you online shredding a classic rock on your electric guitar. The week before, I watched you throw a beautiful 50-yard forehand into the wind at ultimate practice and thought, oh, I can't wait to go disc golfing with you. It's just not something many young players can do. In math class, you always gave 100%, and you repeatedly demonstrated your insightfulness and your intelligence. You made me feel truly welcome in my own classroom with your habit of greeting me every day with a smile and genuinely asking me how I was doing, which usually then bled into some video gaming talk, but still. And as impressed as I am with your gaming skills, I'm more impressed with your constantly cheerful, positive attitude that you bring with you every day to school, my friend. Some of your teachers describe you with words as intuitive, a quick thinker, curious, respectful, and something that surprised me, an excellent bowler. So I'll close with a direct quote from one of my more eloquent colleagues. Daniel is present and engaging and brings people together with humor, music, and by caring about others and what is going on in their lives. And I can second all of that. Congratulations, Daniel.
Hi, my name is Cabria Reyes. I am so proud to be presenting this speech to Sophie O'Rourke. Sophie, throughout our year together, I have had the opportunity to see you grow as a person and as an actor. As Annie in our spring musical, you transformed into that role in less than 5 weeks. The way you mentored younger middle schoolers and socially blossomed with high school drama students, not to mention the gracious and heartfelt way you collaborated with others, was just so awesome to witness. I am convinced that your positive attitude was one reason we were able to pull off the show so successfully, so thank you. As middle school assistant director on the importance of being earnest, you gave really insightful notes and even made some really cool props like the cucumber sandwiches, which I still remember with Grace. I also had the opportunity to coach you on some monologues for auditions the fall semester, and I was so impressed and still am with your talent and dedication. Other teachers have added that you are kind, methodical, cheerful, and have positive energy, and that you are dedicated to the Kirby community. I could not agree more, and know we will see so much more success from you in the coming years. Congratulations, Sophie.
Hello. First of all, I'm so excited to see you all in person. It's the first time I've seen them all in person all year, so I'm really, really loving it. I am so excited to get to speak about Owen Laurie today. And I think an appropriate anecdote, which highlights your humor and creativity, is one that actually happened during our finals period this week. You had, by far, the craziest hat on Crazy Hat Day, when you spent the first 30 seconds of class trying to fashion your small dog into a headpiece, and then, only momentarily defeated, you settled for a large blue balloon. It was great. As I was the only one who was wearing a crazy hat at the time, this improvisation was very much appreciated. This example highlights some of my favorite qualities of yours, Owen: your humor, creativity, and perseverance. Other teachers have highlighted your kindness, good cheer, and dynamic problem solving. Whether you were giving a report on the British perspective of the American Revolution or giving us an in-depth examination of the Pentagon Papers, you threw yourself into research head first. You often produced reports and written assignments with a stunning amount of detail. And when you worked in a group, you were able to support your team members with good humor and your ability to blend seamlessly into a team. I have no doubt that as you journey through high school, you'll continue to use your considerable talents to bring the balance of gravitas and humor that you do so well. Congratulations, Owen. All right, Isla. Isla, I have had so much fun watching you grow as a historian this past year. During a year when we all faced so many challenges, you consistently arrived in class with questions, comments, and curiosity about whatever we were focusing on that day. In particular, you have shown a love for discovering the histories of those whose stories we have neglected, and through various research projects, you have shown a particular interest in women's history, with your in-depth reports on both first wave and second wave feminism. I encourage you to continue to follow those threads that grab your attention. There are so many wonderful stories out there, Isla, waiting to be uncovered and shared. Your teachers highlight your compassion and your care for your classmates, which I also noticed via your supportive comments in our Zoom chat, particularly during presentations when nerves among the whole class were high. Your ability to extend empathy and to support your classmates is a wonderful quality, and I urge you to lead with it as you progress through high school. Thank you so much for being such an asset to our classroom. Congratulations, Isla. And last but certainly not least, I am speaking about Sage. Sage, I'd like to share a time this year when I was extremely grateful for your presence in my classroom. I had decided to do a spooky history lesson. I have to say it like that, it's a thing. To celebrate Halloween, and would play an episode of a podcast focused on either the New England Vampire Panic, real historical event, check it out, wild, or the various witch trials of the 1600s. This was a gamble, and I was worried that it would play to a completely silent Zoom room with zero audience participation. Luckily, you were there to lead by example. Your comments of gross and whoa and huh and wow, this is crazy in our Zoom chat really boosted my own confidence and showed me that my gamble with this lesson plan had paid off. Then, of course, you let us all meet Charlotte the pig, which really was the icing on the cake. Shout out to Charlotte. Your ability to empathize with and cultivate trust with your classmates is something that multiple teachers have highlighted and that I would also like to share. Our U.S. history class functioned so well, primarily due to the sheer amount of support that you and your classmates showed each other every single day, even when it seemed like we were doomed to talk about constitutional amendments forever and ever and ever. Congratulations, Sage. Thank you.
I'm happy to be sharing this with Sean. Sean, you have been described as someone who is very observant and attuned to the world around you. As you explore inner worlds while drawing, painting, or playing the piano, you are open to wherever creative experimentation might lead. These adventures extend to your outdoor activities, whether you're in the natural world, mountain biking through fresh redwood trails, or paddling over a kelp forest. Recently, you reflected on your drawings and how one went through a lot of transformations. You wrote that if something wasn't exactly as you had envisioned, instead of trying to fix it, you changed it. Whatever you encounter in the road ahead, new discoveries and positive changes can arise from the unanticipated possibilities that you readily embrace. Your teacher said, Sean has demonstrated strengths in emotional learning, and since the early days of middle school has shown the potential to be a real leader. And never has there been a day that I haven't seen Sean make people laugh. Your friendliness and empathy surface in ways you bring good conversation and a sense of humor to any gathering. Congratulations, Sean, and all best wishes as you step up to high school.
Okay, yes, you can hear me. I get to talk about Mireya and Hamilton today. Mireya, it has been such a pleasure to get to know you this semester, and I actually felt like I got to know you, which is no small feat in a year like this one. I truly appreciate the enthusiastic, collaborative attitude that you brought to every single class. You build community wherever you go, and you are a tremendous leader, as you have shown not only in all of your classes, but on the volleyball team as well. You are an innovative thinker who brings your whole heart and full self to everything you do. You are brave and not afraid to make mistakes, which is an excellent trait to have as a language learner, but just really inspiring to be around in general. Your classmates gravitate towards you because of your lighthearted spirit, your sense of humor, your support for others, and your reliability. It has truly been an honor to get to know you this year. I hope you get to continue making those delicious tostadas, surfing, playing at the beach, and doing everything that brings you joy as you transition into high school and beyond. Congrats, Mireya. Hamilton, your honesty is refreshing. You never sugarcoat your responses. You are authentically yourself, and your sense of humor is drier than the grass in front of my house. But seriously, this humor and honesty brought so much joy into our class this year, and I thank you for showing up fully every single day. You are dedicated and hardworking, you ask questions, and you take it upon yourself to truly grow as a learner. Your cheerful, friendly nature was palpable, even in an online environment. You have been described as a caring person and a wonderful teammate on the soccer field. You are kind and supportive to others and an active listener. When I think back on this year, Hamilton, and reflect on moments of joy in the classroom, I will remember you and your amazing acting skills. At times, we would play charades in class, which has the possibility of not going too well over Zoom. But you would always take on the challenge, creatively using props and acting with your fullest expression. I have no doubt that you will continue to bring this full-heartedness to everything you pursue in the future. Congratulations, Hamilton.
Good afternoon, everyone. I want to apologize in advance. If I knew it was as hot as it was going to be, I'd be a little less lengthy in my speech. So, but we're going to bring it on home here and get these stepper-uppers graduated. So good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, teachers, for your thoughtful words about our spectacular stepper-uppers. It's rather remarkable. Even in a school year that depended on Zoom, we still found ways to cultivate relationships and appreciate one another. And thank you, parents and special friends, both here and watching virtually. Your partnership has been critically important to this moment's arrival. What a journey this year has been. One might go as far to say that the distance and isolation of our collective pandemic experience has paradoxically brought us closer together than ever. And not just because we know each other's pets and kitchen styles and pajama tops and favorite bread recipes or any other number of details that emerge when we do that thing called Zoom school. By necessity, students and adults alike have had to gain facility with chat boxes, breakout rooms, screen names, and rename yourself, virtual backgrounds, video on, video off, are you there? Synchronous and asynchronous lessons, Jamboards, Padlets, Mentimeters, and Kahoots, and of course, forgetting and reminding each other to unmute. You're muted. You're still muted. And countless other aspects of distance learning that were both incredibly helpful and at times incredibly frustrating and isolating, and for many of us, even a bit traumatizing. Which reminds me of a bumper sticker I saw somewhere in between the time of the lightning complex fires and our return to campus. The bumper sticker read, "Zoom school sucks." But it didn't always suck. And our rock star teachers delivered engaging curriculum. And as we returned to campus, we were able to more fully appreciate the gift of our in-person selves and in-person communities, and to more fully recognize what it means, especially for young people, to be proximate to their teachers and, of course, their classmates and friends. Indeed, we are collectively still emerging out of what might be understood as a liminal time. And as 8th graders on the verge of becoming 9th graders, this might be understood as an especially liminal moment for you in particular, as you exist on the threshold between middle school and high school, and simultaneously in a moment when society is on the threshold between a pandemic and, if we're lucky, a post-pandemic world. Liminal. Now, if we were in a classroom, I would screen share, no wait, I'd go to the board and write out the word liminal. L-I-M-I-N-A-L, liminal. And I'd write out a few definitions. Liminal is one of those words that has a lot of definitions depending on the context. But to simplify matters today, we can understand liminal as a literal or figurative space or state of being in which a person is in between one place and another place. Make sense? All right. Got Carson at least. To give an example, a physical liminal space might amount to the stairwell. Remember that moment after the 6th and 7th graders had finished eating lunch on the deck and you waited patiently? Well, not that patiently. As the last few stragglers passed, at which point you were allowed to go up to the deck, unmask, and eat your socially distanced lunches. There was the time before, hanging out with friends right here in this rec area. Then the time after, when you were eating lunch on the deck. And then there was the time in between, not always a comfortable time, not always a time that made a lot of sense, where Miss Bartlett, thank you, Miss Bartlett, or some other teacher, Kendra, Allie, I see you, was holding you up for safety reasons so the younger students could pass by and use the other stairwell. And that moment could be considered a sort of literal moment of liminality. But on a more figurative level, liminality might amount to a state or condition that represents an in-between or unknowing of what's to come. In a short story, for instance, a liminal moment is one in which the rising action of the plot has brought the story to a climax, and the protagonist faces a moment of uncertainty about what will happen next. This moment is generally followed by some sort of resolution that hopefully offers insight and a greater understanding of ourselves and the world in which we live. The world in which you live. Even in the best of times, one's 8th grade year is not an easy one. Looking out over the precipice, you, the protagonist of your own story, gaze into the uncertain abyss of high school with excitement, curiosity, and perhaps some trepidation. In the rearview mirror, you might reflect from time to time on the receding joys and challenges of middle school, elementary school, or even childhood itself. In considering this intersection between your 8th grade experience and COVID times, it dawns on me that you have had the blessing and the curse of experiencing a double dose of liminality. In a year of pandemic isolation, in the midst of controversial elections, unsettling, if not tragic events, and long overdue social justice movements of historical significance, our country, if not our world, might collectively be understood to be emerging out of a liminal time and space. And you, as 8th graders, were and are perhaps in the most liminal state of all. To use a 9th grade vocab word, you are in the vanguard of liminality. And perhaps another way of thinking about it is this. All of us who were not 8th graders this past year may have been a little closer to being in an 8th grade state of mind than would ever be possible under normal circumstances. Our collective coming of age moment, our initiations, overlapped and synchronized with your own. Now, and with good reason, it's about this time that you might be asking a question that will undoubtedly serve you well in high school and beyond. So what? Why, Mr. Perot, is this important? And I don't have a particularly sage answer, other than it may help us to more fully empathize and acknowledge what you've been through in successfully emerging from middle school, and particularly middle school in a pandemic. And I think that's significant, that we, the people who love and appreciate you in this yellow-tiered 53% double-vaxxed COVID variant still unclear context, are perhaps better able than ever to appreciate and celebrate this moment of your transition than ever before. In some ways, perhaps, maybe we're transitioning together. And so, in closing, congratulations to everyone for getting through this most difficult of years, but most especially, congratulations to the graduating 8th graders of the 2021 school year. You are the very first students to graduate in this amphitheater, and you are now and forever our resident experts in liminality. Our next speaker will be part of the second group of students to graduate in this amphitheater, taking place this Saturday. Please join me in welcoming our student body president and valedictorian, Michelle Nazareth.
Hi, everyone. My name is Michelle Nazareth, and first of all, thank you, Ms. Hutton and Mr. Perot, for giving me the opportunity to speak to you all as president. First, congratulations. You guys all made it through middle school, which I think is arguably one of the hardest parts of your K through 12 journey. I remember I joined Kirby in 8th grade, and I actually remember sitting right where you guys all are now, being so excited to finally be a high schooler. I'd gotten a little bit of a taste of high school through talking to the older Kirby students in some of the Kirby choirs. For me, I'm a pretty big STEM kid, so joining choir was definitely out of my comfort zone. It honestly felt like starting high school because I was joining a new school, had to make new friends, have new teachers, and on top of that, learning how to use my voice in a new way. Singing was scary, but now, thinking back as a senior, joining the choirs was so worth it. I gained a totally new appreciation of music and grew so many lasting friendships from choir. In fact, concert choir is actually where I met so many of you wonderful people last year. But what about you all? Raise your hand if you tried something new this year. Maybe you tried a new sport? Anyone? Yeah, I see a couple. What about you tried a new boba drink? Okay, I have one that's all gonna get you. What if you tried to wear a mask to school for the first time? There we go. That's all of you. And that's awesome, because even if these little changes seem insignificant to you now, trust me, changing and trying new things are the memos that will carry you through the crazy roller coaster of high school. I like to think of school kind of like a tree. In elementary school, we spend a lot of time forming our roots, whether that was literally planting gardens and playing in the dirt together, or even figuratively, figuring out who we are, what we like, who we want to be friends with. There, we all formed pretty strong foundations. In middle school, you guys got to grow a trunk and extend your branches. Maybe you figured out a new clothing style or learned that you love science or you love English. You took physics, art, choir, classes across so many different spectrums. You all in particular are a special grade because like the seniors, you were brave and strong enough to keep growing and trying when most of the year was online. I have no doubt at all that the trunk and the branches you grew are strong, tall ones. You can use those branches to literally branch out into so many different directions. So now I think it's time to welcome you into high school. You'll finally be able to grow those leaves of yours. You could join a new club. I had joined embroidery club totally out of the blue. And yeah, well, I started by sewing my finger more times than the fabric. It's now one of my favorite hobbies. Another one of my leaves is competing at science fairs, and another is just laying on the ground and clown watching. Each leaf of mine is so different from the next, and yours will be too. That's what helps us be all unique people. I have to be honest. Sometimes leaves do fall. For example, Hush P, which is the 11th grade history class that you might take, will definitely feel like you don't even know the English language, like at all. I think I cried when Miss Olson left over 200 comments on my essay after I spent 30 hours in the paper. But you know what? In the long run, that experience was actually amazing because I got to grow from it. When leaves fall, new ones get to form. I am now 10 times better writer and can whip out a 20-page paper in 2 days. Because of that class, I helped, like myself, grow new leaves. My advice to all of you is to continue growing leaves. Try new hobbies, new classes, styles, foods, as much as you all can. You'll be really surprised at how much of life you grow to love because you decided to try something new. Even though some leaves might struggle and fall, at the end of the day, I can say with complete confidence that every single one of you will grow into being your own beautifully unique tree. With that, congratulations, ex-8th graders, and welcome into high school.
All right, I know it has been a long time in the hot sun, so I'm going to get us wrapped up here. Before I make the final proclamation, I just wanted to let everyone know how we'll be dismissing today, because we are trying to be respectful of the COVID policies that allowed us to have this graduation ceremony in person. We're going to release the students one row at a time to come be with families, and we've set up 2 photo stations with the backdrop here so that you can take advantage of that to get a family photo with your graduate before you leave. And we're going to try to release people slowly enough that there's enough space for people to take turns and slowly trickle out. I know that asking people not to hug on a day like today is pointless, but I'm going to be able to say I told you not to hug people you don't know, and we'll call it that. Sorry, I keep forgetting to take my mask off. I get used to these after a while. So now for the very final and most important moment of today, I have to promote you all. And it does make for a sort of awkward last day. Tomorrow you will be at school with a school that already has another 9th grade class that has not yet promoted. But it's okay. It'll be uncomfortable for a minute, and we'll get past it. Because after tomorrow, the rest of the school will be promoted to the next grade. But for now, it is my pleasure, by the power vested in me by the Kirby Board of Trustees, to promote you all to high school. Congratulations and welcome. And now my front row students, if you'd like to go join your families and get some photos. Second row, if you guys would like to congregate in the shade up here, second row, you guys can join your families. We've got room for lines, so you're not stuck in the sun.
Don't forget your certificates and acorns.
Aw. Hi. Good to see you. Okay, Wyatt, I was wrong. I told you less than an hour. Okay. Almost exactly. Beautiful though. I love Step Up.
Thank you.
See ya on Saturday.
I will not be here Saturday.
I will see them on Saturday.
Yeah, they will be here.
All right. Third row students, I see some of you have cleared out, and I think the fourth row can join your families as well. Feel free to use the shade up front here.
I think we're just up leveling every year. Like, this is definitely a more professional setup than last year, and it's much more redundant and just.
Is it recorded too? So is it just live streamed, or can I go back and look at it?
It'll be on YouTube.
Okay.
It'll be on YouTube later. Like this, I think maybe I'll just see how fast YouTube encodes it and puts it out.
Awesome.
Yep.
Thank you
full
so
control.
much.
Thank
Have
you
a
so
great
much.
afternoon.
Bye.
Yeah, she's named.
Yeah,
which is. Maddox. So I need to think about. I might have to put them on a riser and get them higher so that people don't wear hats and say things or whatever.
Hi, Tracy.
I'm soaking wet. It's all right. So am I. Sorry, it's so hot. Sorry, Dave.
Feeling left out, man.
And I think I might put the filming crew up on a platform so that people can bring umbrellas.